simply go back across it and open it up. That's what I would do. But people pound chicken also. You know, you have a mallet and you just pound it down and make it all one even. But there it is, the chicken breast. And then the last one, you do the same thing. And that's the chicken breast. And what I do normally is I lay it in the pan the way that I want it to look. So I just, rather than just putting it down in the pan like that, I make it look pretty in the pan. Like, you know, I form a breast the way that I want it to look in the pan. Well, I'll show you once we get to the pan. But so this is 3 chicken breasts out of 1. These are 3 chicken cutlets out of 1 chicken breast. And I think the reason why people end up having dry meat, y'all hear me when I turn around to the sink? I think the reason why people end up having dry meat in terms of chicken or even chicken breast is because you can't see it cook through. Like if you're trying to cook a chicken breast as thick as what I had, you'd be waiting and waiting and waiting for it to cook all the way through. But so I just want to show a technique or a cooking style that I use to show you how to cook it through and through. And it cooks through and through quicker when it's thin, when it's a cutlet. So this is my rice, and maybe I'll use, can you do this for me? Can you put this this pan over there, the cast iron skillet over there? Yes. And thank you. And we'll I guess we can turn this on. Okay. And am I good on time? Yep. We're gonna get the.
You're looking at 6:24.
Okay, we're gonna get the oven. I'm sorry, the skillet hot. Make sure your skillet is hot before you start cooking. Including the cold skillet, you know, it's not a good idea. I don't even have a reason or a technical term for that, but just make sure your skillet is hot. Otherwise, your food has to come up to temp because your pan also had to have time to come up to temp. So I'll talk about the chicken breast real quick. I have it in cutlets right now, and I do have a. I'm gonna season it. We're gonna make a little marinade. I'm gonna put the chicken maybe in a bowl with the marinade, and then we'll put it in a breadcrumb. But a lot of people also do like a wash, which is like flour, then an egg wash, and then a breadcrumb. What I'm gonna try to do today is cut out all of those steps and just do the breadcrumb. Take the chicken from the marinade and put it into the breadcrumbs. So this right here is olive oil. I'm just gonna put maybe like. Can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Can you? I am. Yes. Can you give me a glove right here? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, and I know that there's not a pause, but I do have to wash my hands real quick. And maybe if you can stir the rice a little bit and then put the thing back on for me. Okay. We can toss this in a second. Gotcha. Okay. And so if you happen to get a cut in the kitchen, it's simple. Just put a glove on and keep it moving. So this is just an olive oil right here. And I have some chicken stock back there. For the sauce that we're going to make, I guess that doesn't matter right now. I'm going to use the olive oil. I'm going to use the chili powder that I told you all about earlier. And like I said, it's just like a teaspoon of each ingredient because I'm just going to use a few cutlets. I love rosemary and thyme, so it's a lemon chicken. So I can use the board, you know, right side by side. I'm just going to cut up a little bit of fresh thyme and fresh rosemary. And the same herbs or ingredients that I'm using for the marinade, I'm going to use it for sauce also to pour over the chicken. So this is just a little bit of rosemary and fresh thyme, and maybe we'll add a little bit of dried oregano and lemon juice and lemon zest. And maybe I'll make the whole thing. So what I do is I put them all together. I put all of my herbs together, and then I let the knife rock back and forth, just like that. Can you see my hand? And then when you put your cutting board down, just put like a wet rag or something up under your cutting board so your cutting board doesn't move when you cut on it. Can I answer a question or something? Because I'm nervous. Anybody ask me anything? Okay, so these are the fresh herbs going in to our marinade. And like I said, we're gonna add the chicken to this bowl right here, and then we're gonna put it in this. It's Italian breadcrumbs, and they're already seasoned, but we're gonna season this also, the marinade. And we're gonna use a little bit of dried oregano. Do we have that? Okay.
Your pan is getting hot too.
Okay. I'll just turn that down a little bit. And can I have a spoon? We just kind of stir it up a little bit like that. And then I'm going to add some, do I have like a zester? Right here, I have one. Okay, and this is just a microplane, but I use it to zest citrus, any type of citrus that you have. And you just kind of twirl it around. This one is a wider one. I like them wider typically because you can cover more surface. It's easier, it's quicker. But this is zesting a lemon. You don't want to cut it past the white or zest it past the white because then it gets kind of bitter. But that's about enough, I'd say. And then we're gonna cut the lemon in half. How am I doing?
People said, don't be nervous. You make it look easy. You look great.
I make it look easy?
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
Somebody said do this once a week so they can learn how to cook.
Okay, and so that I can learn how to do this part. So we'll all get practice. But so I zested the lemon, and now I'm going to add some lemon juice. And I keep it up this way just in case there are any seeds. But if you do get seeds in it, you just, put your finger and take it out. Remove it. And I would say that's about a half a teaspoon, and because I'm just making the little cutlets, I'm gonna leave it at that so that the oil will adhere to the chicken and hopefully adhere to the breadcrumb. I like panko breadcrumbs, but these are just an Italian breadcrumb because I wanted to skip the egg dredge and the flour. Okay, so this is our marinade. I'm gonna put a little bit more oil. I'm just eyeballing everything right now. This is olive oil. And I do want to say that Amazon Fresh bought Whole Foods. So all of our ingredients today, this is all from Whole Foods. And I'm proud to be the featured chef for today for NetCook. And I'm happy that they found me, and even though I was apprehensive, I'm happy to do it. And we'll hope that it all goes well. So this is our marinade. This is the chicken. This is our, these are our breadcrumbs. And if you could put some, yeah, in the pan for me, just kind of cover it. Cover the pan. We're gonna cover the pan in olive oil. While she's doing that, I'm gonna put all of the cutlets in the marinade and kind of turn them over a couple times. Like I said, that was some fresh herbs, which were thyme and rosemary, my two favorite, and then some dried oregano, and then lemon zest and lemon juice, because this is lemon chicken after all. Casey, can you take that for me? Mm-hmm. Thank you. So will you be able to hear me if I go?
Yeah.
I need a lot more than that. Maybe it's because our spout is not. I'll do this one.
A little bit more.
Yeah. And you kind of just want to cover the bottom of your pan with the oil. And what I really want to show, actually, let me just do it. So this is our first chicken breast. We're going to put it in the panko. I'm sorry, this is not panko. We're going to put it in the Italian breadcrumbs. And then, you see, it kind of just adhered to the chicken because of the oil that we had. And then I'm going to take it over to the pan and lay it in the pan the way that I want it to look. So I don't want this to be out, butterfly like that. I'm just going to close it and lay it in the pan neatly. And pretty much if it doesn't sizzle, it means that it's sitting there absorbing oil, which you don't want. And Casey, can you turn it up a little bit for me?
Yes.
Maybe to like,
Halfway? Mid?
yeah, like mid-high. Okay, cool. And this is our last piece. And like I said, I cut the chicken, the breast off the bone, and then I cut it, that one breast down into 3 cutlets, because this is pretty much all you need. This is about, I was about to say 3 ounces, but this is about a 4-ounce portion of meat. This is about all you need for, you know, for dinner, for your meal.
The rice wanted to go a little longer.
Yeah. I'm just going to stir the rice and cover it. Yeah, let it just kind of stand. We're just going to let it. Okay. And then, Kevin, you can take both of these for me. Thank you. And I have another rag somewhere?
Yeah. Here you go.
Somebody said they
Thank
missed a step. They said, did you dip it in the oil, then the egg before the crumbs?
So what I didn't do is dip it in any egg wash. And normally what you could do is have flour, an egg wash, which is just 1 egg beaten with a little bit of like a splash of water, and then panko breadcrumbs or either Italian breadcrumbs. You can do that wash like that. Well, I skipped all of those steps. They didn't miss a step. I skipped them. And what I did was I made a marinade of olive oil, lemon juice, lemon zest, and some herbs. And we put the chicken in there first, and just for a second, to season it with a little bit of chili powder. And then we put it in the Italian breadcrumbs. And then we put it in the pan. And so, oh, this is what I want to show you. I don't have any tongs. Do I have any tongs? Can you look at that go fast for me before I burn it? But
Was there a benefit to using the Italian breadcrumbs over the panko breadcrumbs?
So I had never done this way before, meaning skipping the step of the egg dredge, because I would have really just put it in the pan from the marinade. I would have just done that. But in skipping the dredge, I feel like the panko, because it's a little bit more crummy, the crumbs are a bit separated. They're not as they're a little bit more coarse. They're not as ground as Italian breadcrumbs. I felt like they wouldn't adhere to the chicken as well without an egg wash. So that's the only reason why I did that. But you know, you can try it at home and see if I'm right or wrong. And so our chicken is browning. You found them?
Yeah, right beside you.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so now I have some tongs. And what I really wanted to show, can I have a, is if it's a cutlet, if the chicken is cut down thin enough, any meat, you can watch it turn opaque pretty much before you flip it. It will cook through and through. If you leave it in the pan and you leave it alone, it can cook through and through, and then it's crispy on one side. You flip it over on the other side and let it cook for maybe like 60 seconds and it's done. Because it's already cooked through and through. I mean, can they see that? That it's okay, that it's cooked? It's no longer transparent. It's white. And so I'm just gonna turn it over and then let it cook. Maybe 60 seconds, 2 minutes, something like that, so that it forms a crisp, not a crisp, but it forms like a crust on the outside of the other side. And I think we would be done after that. So I'm gonna use a little bit of scallions and a little bit of cilantro. So if you could break these off for me, I'm gonna do that for the rice.
Okay.
And maybe, okay, so the veggies are already done. What I would do is, can I have, you already washed that? Can I have that, the slate board? I'm gonna just lay the chicken on there, and it can rest. So what you can do to your chicken, the slate one, the black one, you see it?
Yeah.
You can have like a grate. Maybe I should show that. Can you give me that silver?
Okay.
That's the rack. So if you had like a rack, let's turn it off because it's done. Rather than laying your chicken on I don't know, paper towels or what's that, a paper bag or something that we kind of grew up doing. You can still lay your paper bag down here, maybe on a slate, but it's still going to sit in the grease. So maybe you lay it on top of something. This is what I do. I lay it on top of like a grate. And I keep losing the tone. I'm doing that on purpose. And I lay it here. I will just lay it on the grate to rest. And there we have chicken. Little, teeny little chicken cutlets. Which is all, I mean, in terms of portion size, that's all you need. And I want to maybe toss the rice in here. And then, well, let me do this first before we toss the rice because the rice is resting. I'm going to make the same sauce, and I'm going to make it from right here, and then we'll put it on the stove. But I'm going to use the same olive oil, and now this is about like 1/3 of a cup of olive oil. Maybe 1/4 of a cup of olive oil. I'm just going to really cover the bottom of the pan by about 1 inch. That's olive oil. And then I have some chicken stock, and I could actually use a measuring cup.
Yes.
You can see it. So the same amount though. I'm just going to use about 1/4 of a cup of chicken stock. No, 1/3. Okay. I'm going to use 1/3 of a cup of chicken stock. Or chicken broth. And the same fresh veggies that I had. The zest of the other half of the lemon. I'm sorry, the juice from the other half of the lemon, which is about like less than a tablespoon. But that's lemon juice. And then I'm gonna grate some more zest from another lemon. Grate that in there. And I guess the recipes will be on netcook. Maybe when I'm done, right?
Yeah. And then
yes.
Yeah.
We'll provide the recipe.
Well.
I think what happens as a chef is like while you're doing it, you're kind of eyeballing everything. Even though you have a recipe in mind or you have an idea of where you want to go, you have your menu in mind or whatever, you kind of feel you're in a mood, so you're kind of feeling your way through what you're cooking. But that was lemon zest. I have garlic over here, but maybe we don't use it. See, that's a feeling. And then the herbs that we had. So this is again fresh rosemary and fresh thyme, and I'm just gonna remove a couple little sprigs. Actually, I could just put it in there like this. See, that's a mood too. I was gonna cut it up, but anyway. We'll just add the rosemary and the thyme to that, and we'll season it again. I've been using chili powder today. I said I use chili powder kind of like anybody uses paprika or seasoning oil or whatever the case may be. I use chili powder the same way, and it is not spicy. But it only requires like a little pinch, you know. And then we're going to put it on the stove and let it cook for a while. I have a little bit of white wine to add to it, but we're going to let it cook down for a minute before we do that. I'm going to put this on the back burner. Am I supposed to be done right now?
You're looking at 6:42.
Whoa. Was I just talking to you? Yeah, it does. Okay, but this is a really quick meal if you're not, you know, entertaining. Well, you can entertain and do it too. But anyway, okay, so this is our little sauce that we're gonna put over the chicken. I have some butter. I'm just gonna use like a little pat of butter. I find that if you put olive oil or any type of oil on the bottom of the pan, the butter won't burn, because butter burns. So then I let it, you know, the oil is at the bottom, so then I'm gonna just add the butter to there, and once the butter starts to melt, then I can kind of whisk it a bit, if I have a whisk.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, you were ahead of me?
Yeah.
Oh, I have this, okay. I think I have like
You
a
want
little
an
small
actual
one,
whisk
like a sauce whisk.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is our sauce, and I'm gonna add a little bit of dried oregano to the sauce. And I also have some capers. So capers kind of makes it like a chicken piccata. I like chicken piccata, but capers are kind of like olives. They give like a nice little seasoning, like of salt. But it's a good flavor that they give off. So I'm gonna add some capers and the caper juice to it. I want to give you all measurements. That's why I keep looking for. I'll give you the measurements when I give you the recipe. So that was just some caper juice and then capers. But like capers are delicious, so no worries. And then it's okay if you can't find it. I'll use the bacon. So I'm just gonna, as it starts to come to like a simmer, I'm gonna just kind of whisk it. I hope that was simple. Like it's quick and painless, like to create a sauce, you know, just to pour over your chicken. And you can add heavy cream. So like say if you're making this more of like an Italian dish, since I added the capers, you can add some heavy cream. You can just pour in some heavy cream right now, and it makes it a cream sauce versus like a jus or a gravy, which is what we're doing. So right now I would add maybe like, I'm sorry?
Somebody says, what can they substitute for capers?
You don't have to put the capers in. So today I wasn't even going to use the capers, but just like a little pinch of salt. But I use chicken stock, so it's really already seasoned. I just use the capers for an added little punch of flavor. The same thing with the wine. I'm sorry, probably shouldn't show that, but same thing with the wine. You don't have to have it in there. It just pulls it up. It gives it a, I don't know, a finish. It finishes it. But you don't have to use the wine either. And that was like 1/4 of a cup. And because I'm making, you know, just one dish, I'm using just about the same 1-to-1 for everything, for everything that I've used. So like I used the white wine, that was 1/4 of a cup. I used the chicken stock, the liquid, that was 1/4 of a cup. And I used the olive oil, so it was all kind of the same, like 1-to-1. And then you can turn your sauce down. And then perhaps I'm gonna do a little bit to the rice, because I just want to tell you about the rice, even though I'm over time. I'm sorry. You just turn your sauce down a little bit. Let the wine cook out a little bit. That's what I'm doing right now. And then I'm gonna. Oh, you already have.
Yeah.
Oh, boom, boom.
For sure.
Boom,
I wanted to do it.
So these are scallions. which is like green onion. I also use shallot. These are just little onions. I use these. These are red onion, but in like, you know, baby form, real small. This is a yellow onion, but it's small. So these are the sizes that I typically have in my home, because then these items don't go to waste. If you have a big old onion and you only use a third of it or half of it, then the rest gets tossed or it goes bad in your kitchen. But I would recommend using smaller onions or smaller anything, because then you don't waste produce. Even like, you know, like little tomatoes or something like that. I would recommend using like grape tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, rather than using, you know, big items. Just use them smaller. That way you don't just find yourself throwing away your whole produce, all of your produce in your refrigerator. So this is just, these are just scallions, like I said. If you could put the rice, just a little bit of rice in that bowl for me. And right now we're just gonna add some color to the rice. And when I say color, I just mean we're gonna add some produce. I don't need all of that. So this is cilantro. I'm just gonna chop it up finely. The thing that I find with my daughters, or like I said, I kind of learned my way personally cooking. I grew up cooking, and my sisters kind of helped me learn my way in terms of cooking also. But my husband, when we started dating, told me that he doesn't eat vegetables. And so that's kind of how I was like, that's a challenge, that's ridiculous. I'm going to start incorporating veggies into his diet. So this is what I did. I would just dice up any veggie really fine, and then just kind of add it to whatever meal I decided to create for him. So this right here is jasmine rice, and I'm going to add the cilantro and the scallions, just a little, to it. And then also, what I do with my daughters, if you can give me just like a little bunch of spinach. This kind of looks like, well, it's herbs, but I just want to show you real quick an option that you have. And I'm just going to add like a small little bunch of spinach to it. Spinach is a good antioxidant. It helps you digest your food, and it doesn't have a strong flavor. I find that it doesn't have flavor at all, but anyway, it doesn't really have a strong flavor. It's a way to incorporate veggies into any dish. Like even if I had a pasta sauce, I could, you know, add spinach at the end, add spinach in, you know, sorry, is that blocking you? I could add spinach in at the end. It just helps you, you know, digest your food. It's a way of adding veggies to your food. So I'm gonna add that to the rice. And that's that. And because I used the lemon chicken, I'm just gonna add a little bit of acidity to the rice. That's all. A little bit of lemon juice. And then stir it with a spoon. And then I believe we can just plate it up. I'm gonna add a little bit more color. I just feel like I'm out of time. So I might, if I had more time, I would add, oh, can you maybe just slide a few of these and have it a long way? Just a few different colors. Sorry, Susie. So I'm gonna get a little bowl and we can plate it up. And I'm gonna check on the sauce. But this way the rice is already seasoned. I don't have to do anything to it. And we'll just check on the sauce real quick. Is that the back or the front? I'm just gonna stir the sauce one time. And like I said, you can add a cream, like a heavy cream or something like that, or even just add like Parmesan to it. if you wanted to toss some pasta in it to make it more of an Italian dish. And can I get a rag?
Yes.
This one? And a bowl. So maybe we can start with the rice first. I believe in portion sizes. So I'm just gonna kind of plate it that way. But so we'll plate the rice down first. Thank you. Right on time. And we'll do 2 pieces of chicken maybe for, I don't know, to make it look pretty, but you just need one, really. And then I'm gonna add some veggies. And these are the roasted veggies that we did. It took like 6 minutes on 425. I just used some veggie stock. They have it in powder form and olive oil. And I put it in the oven on 425 for about 6 minutes. And then it's just pretty. Oh, I don't have any Brussels sprouts. So I'm gonna add some Brussels sprouts. And then they come out bright and pretty, I believe. I like it. And maybe some yellow. This is what I do when I'm feeding my husband or feeding anybody. I care about this part because the other part is innate. Like the cooking part is it's innate. But making it look appetizing is important to me. And these are just tomatoes. I could put it in the sauce, or I could just I'm gonna just do it. So I'm just gonna spoon on a little bit of the caper sauce. It's just herbs and capers. I can put it on the rice too. And I think I will, can you pour those tomatoes in there for me?
Yes.
And can you slice some of those really thin for me? Yes. And I mean, that's it. Tomatoes just add color and flavor too, you know? It's just pretty. And you could grill a lemon to put on top, maybe like grill some lemon wedges. Thank you. Perfect. But Casey, she just sliced them up real quick for me. Because like I said, I feel like I'm running, I could have put a little, but yeah. And there you have it. I would feel like I want to put a little bit of pepper right there. And I could keep going. So I will get nitpicky in terms of this part. So I'm going to say that's a done deal. Lemon chicken. That's it.
Looks really good.
Yeah, thank you. And then, if this were for my husband, I would probably put the sauce all over, but you don't have to. So yeah, that's it. Jasmine rice, lemon chicken, and roasted veggies. That's the dish. I don't know which way to turn it to get the turn around. That's it. And then I would take a